Pisces, you are up for your love reading. So let's go ahead and get into this. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it's not your story, don't try to make it fit. I am just the person sitting here reading the energy and the tarot cards. With that being said, there were a lot of cards that came out in the Oracle deck in the first one that was about healing and starting new. And I have 3 cards here. So the first card that came out was the butterfly. And this is about a relationship ending to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. And then following that was healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships and addiction. And then the Grim Reaper came out. And this one says the relationship is over. No second chances. It says grow and transform your life. All of these go together, which is amazing. The person that you were dealing with, and if you have Aquarius in your chart, like if you might be a cusp, like a February Pisces, you might want to consider the Aquarius reading because that one was about a betrayal. I feel that might have been the case for some of you. For others of you, I just believe this particular person could not sit still for one. And the reason I'm saying that, for 2 of the tarot cards that came out together, one was the Knight of Wands reversed, which is fire energy, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. Some of you might have been dealing with the fire sign. With the Queen of Cups, which is specifically Cancer, but definitely water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And I just feel that this person could not pour into you emotionally, which is one of the reasons why it didn't work. I believe for this person, they focused more on the physical, like they focused on sex. And if it wasn't trying to get you into the bedroom, it was just they couldn't sit still. They always wanted to go somewhere, be doing something, stuff like that, especially with the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands card is also known as a travel card. So it could be a thing of maybe they just like to be out a lot, going places on the weekend, doing this and doing that. And you may not have been about that, where you just don't feel like going out all the time. You might have been a little bit of a homebody to a certain degree, but I also believe that you might have compromised a little bit. We're trying to meet somebody halfway, where it's like, okay, well, if you want to do this, then let's go ahead and do this, or let's try this place, those type of things. But I just feel they couldn't sit still. Also, I heard wandering eye is what I just heard in my head. They more than likely had a wandering eye, where they would look at certain people, whether it be male or female. Again, take what resonates. And I won't say it fully made you insecure. I think it was more annoying than insecure, because sometimes people get insecure when that happens. I don't necessarily think that was it. I just think it was annoying is what it was. And what's happening now, because this person wants to come back, because you've ended this, or you're ending it. One of the Oracle cards that came out in a different deck was New Beginnings. And this is where a person is saying, you know what, I've done some reflection. And after reflecting, I've realized that you are definitely the one for me. I don't know how I couldn't have seen it earlier, but I see it now, and you are the one. And they may come back and do this sob story and everything else. And don't forget, Mercury retrograde will have just passed when you're listening to this. I'm recording this during Mercury retrograde right now, which is happening in the sign of Cancer. And people are in their feels right now, where they're reminiscing about what was and all of this other stuff. And it gives people the opportunity to close out cycles, or to start new cycles with the previous person if they choose to. I always tell people you have free will. You can do what you want. It's completely up to you. But I'm seeing in the cards here, you don't want this. 2 of the cards that came out together as well in the tarot deck was the Fool and the 9 of Cups reversed. At one point, this person was your wish fulfillment. Again, water energy with the 9 of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This person was your wish fulfillment at first, and they're looking to start new. But I heard Fool no more when these cards came out. The Fool is here, but you don't want it. You don't want a new start with this person. You feel they have neglected you. You feel that they walked away from you to a certain degree. You ended it, but I The energy I'm getting is that they weren't fully invested in the relationship anyway, and that was almost as if they had walked away. If they weren't fully present, if they weren't giving it the energy that it deserved. I'm hearing that they were giving their energy to other people, and not necessarily in the sense of romance or sex or things like that. That could have been the case, but I just feel you were not the priority, and that played a huge role as well. And once you remove your energy, that's when all of a sudden people are reflecting and they're like, oh my gosh, I miss what Pisces used to do. And Pisces would listen to me and this and that and help me out and do certain things. I'm just hearing the grass is greener on the other side. That's what they thought. They were thinking the grass was greener on the other side until they got to the other side. And then it's like, wait a minute, Pisces did this. Why don't you do this? Pisces did that. Why don't you do that? And after seeing that, oh, well, things were better with Pisces, and seeing, oh, maybe some of my ways are kind of toxic, and seeing, oh, well, maybe I should have invested more and the relationship would have had a chance. They have all of these things going through their head right now, a shoulda, coulda, woulda. But for you, it's kind of irrelevant because you don't care. The strength card is at the bottom of the tarot deck. And you picked up the strength, you gathered the strength to fully separate, because again, this was toxic and there was addiction. And I do believe there might have been a very strong sexual connection with this person. Also, I heard familiarity, like where you're comfortable with someone. That more than likely contributed to you staying around maybe longer than you should have, where it's like, well, I'm comfortable with this person. I know who they are. I'll do my best to continue to make it work. But you've reached the point now where you're just like, no, I don't need it, don't want it. And there are no second chances. This is done. And that's why. And that is your message, Pisces. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, if it resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, be blessed.